Strada 2 is almost here. It's faster, it's better, and it's much easier to use. I caught up with Michael Sioni to hear more.
You're watching CineD, supported by B&H and CVP.
Hi guys, I'm Johnny from CineD, and I'm here with Michael from Strada, or should I say Strada 2? Michael, how are you?
Very good. Strada version 2. That's right. We're right on the cusp of releasing version 2.
And I'm personally very excited because I would love to try to see what's new. But guys, we've been following the journey of Strada. Personally, I like the spirit. I like to see how things are shaping up from almost nothing to something fundamental. So, Michael, just in a very short, in a short run, tell the audience about Strada, and then we'll move about what's new.
Strada is all about being able to connect your local drives to each other so you can edit off of somebody else's drive. I don't want to have to upload files and download files in order to see them. I want to be able to access them instantly, especially when they're big. What we learned in version 1 of Strada is the features that people want, but they wanted it simpler and they wanted it in one place. And if you think about how we interact with clouds, we use web pages to interact with a cloud. This will make a lot of sense to your viewers. We interact with a cloud through a web page. But when we are a creative, we don't interact with web pages. We bring the files and put them on a drive, and then we use the Finder in Apple or the File Explorer in Windows. That's how a creative does that, whether it's Pro Tools from Finder or Lightroom or Premiere, you're using the Finder. So what Strada version 2 is it becomes the Finder. It becomes the File Explorer. And so here, I can see, this is Strada version 2. It just looks like my Finder was up the whole time. And if you were watching in the background, you're like, that looks like a Finder. But it's not. This is Strada version 2. And what I can do on this that no other product can do is I can invite people. So if I plug in a drive like this OWC Express drive, I can invite people to it. I can type in emails. I can assign permissions. And now I'm doing it from an experience that everyone has. Everyone has a story that my client may not be as technically savvy, or my assistant editor or my editor, whatever. Well, that's okay. It's okay to not be technically savvy. What you need to do is make the technology easier to integrate. And so that's what we're doing.
And I have to say, for complete transparency, I'm very happy to hear this because that was part of the feedback that we tried to communicate with you and the team. Make it a bit easier, make it a bit more familiar. So I'm very thankful for, I guess I was not the only one to give this feedback, but obviously that was also your vision. Speaking of which, where are we, or how close are we to have Strada 2 ready for people to try?
Well, today is June 5th, and we are going to have it in June. So it's coming in June. We're using it every day, and it's pretty exciting because it's so simple. Watch this real quick. I can go to some files here. I can look at files on a hard drive, and we have the ability to look at it in a list view, a thumbnail view, a column view. So whatever people like to organize and analyze and look at their files, it works. But then we built an integrated player so you can play back files within it. So you have the ability to play that back. And now I can start going through dailies inside of it. So the Finder becomes access, invite, playback. And then the last step is I can grab these files. I can go into Resolve. I'll clear my timeline. I can drag them in there. And now I'm playing these back in Resolve. So the same files, let me go to something moving. I don't know, there we go. Not a lot of movement in these shots, but the same application is invite, connecting, viewing, and editing, and it's in one tool. And you make a great point, and it's really important that you hear this. We, as a startup, observe the discipline of listening to every client. Everybody's opinion matters, and we capture it all. That's partly why people see me on YouTube, because I'm putting the information out there so we can get the information and feedback back. And then we're able to make a better solution, and we listen to everyone. We have a Discord channel. People chat all the time. They tell us what they want. They tell us what they need. And then we look at the other products, and we look at the behavior, and then we use it. I eat my own dog food. Like, I edit this way using my own tech all the time. So I know how it works and how it doesn't work, and that's allowing us to make something so simple and easy that everybody can use it.
So the idea is very simple. Moving footage from A to B, the fastest, the easiest, and probably the most cost-effective way.
That's right.
Talking about cost effectiveness, this is something that I really want to know. You know, if I'm uploading to whatever cloud solution,
Yeah.
and I'm using, let's say, Ghost. I don't know if you know the company. You're using some 5G SIM cards to move some stuff. Obviously, when you move things to the cloud, you have to pay for the data. When I'm doing A to B like this, how is the data consumption?
Yeah, that's really great. When you're dealing with cloud, there is a data center. It's $1 billion data center. They're all over the world. We know that they're being built, that people utilize them. That infrastructure we all have to pay for. We pay for it in the form of renting every single month. We have to rent some storage from the data centers. But what you already own is a computer and a hard drive and an internet service provider. Strada is the only technology for professional video that allows you to use your own compute, your own drives, and your own ISP, so you don't have to pay for the data center. So an actual transfer for a user with Strada costs almost nothing. And so we're able to charge very, very little to make it possible. In fact, people can transfer hundreds of terabytes with Strada for a flat rate of $24 a month, hundreds of terabytes, because it doesn't cost me money for you to transfer files from one drive to the other, because you're using your own infrastructure and it doesn't go through me. I don't have a copy, I don't have a cloud, I'm not a relay. I'm just helping your two computers talk to each other and allowing them to transfer.
This is really great and extremely cost effective, but do you know if I'm paying for the data? You know what I mean? Like not.
If you have most internet service providers are unlimited plans, right? When you have an internet subscription, you can transfer, you can use the internet as much as you want through that ISP. So as long as that is the case, then you're not incurring a fee in order to transfer anything.
I meant more like if I'm using a 5G solution from a mobile data company.
Okay, so if you're using mobile hotspots, then of course those companies are going to charge you for the data consumption on a hotspot. Unlimited plans are unlimited, some are throttled, some are different. But if you're not using a cell technology, most wireless connections are going to be unlimited flat rate. And we don't charge for you to use it in either case.
Great. I mean, I'm really looking forward for the technology. I actually want to try it as soon as possible, especially if it's really like kind of drag and drop and whatever. Anything else that will be, I mean, that's a big thing, but anything else that will be new in version 2?
Yes, there is. And something's really exciting is we're the first group that is actually debayering raw files and making raw files possible. So right here, I'm playing back a B-raw file, and I can look at this in full screen and switch between assets of B-raw. This is the Blackmagic 12K camera. Now what that means is I'm playing back a 12K file, I'm debayering it, I'm decoding that, I'm adding a LUT, because this is not log as you can see, and then I am encoding it so that the internet here, which is just the free Wi-Fi, can play it back. So almost nobody has ever played a raw file through the internet. It's just impossible with the data rates. But we're using our patent pending compression technology to make big 12K raw files shrink down and play them back over the Wi-Fi here so that you're able to play back files even if you're at Starbucks or a hotel.
So, but this file is not on this computer, it's elsewhere.
Anywhere. Yeah, it can be anywhere. Even the source computer can have bad internet because we're using the power of actually, I have a picture of it here. This is a live Zoom. This is a live Zoom call with my computer in my office. It's 2:18 in the afternoon. It's 2:18 right now. And we're able to use the power. When you spend $3,000 or $4,000 on these supercomputers, most people aren't using them as all the way. They're just using them for web browsing and websites. But we're taking that and we're using the processor to shrink those files down instantly so you can play back Blackmagic RAW, and we added Red RAW to version 2 so you can play back 8K red code, 12K B RAW over a hotspot in a airport lounge. And that's going to connect people to their media in a new way, because our beauty, the beauty, if we look at this real quick, this is our story. Access your media without moving it. That's the challenge. We didn't know that when we started this business. And like you said, you've watched us grow. But we listen to the users. That's the problem. They want access to their media, but they don't want to have to move it anywhere. And you have to give up your sort of like addiction to the cloud, because we're used to it. We start to trust the cloud, but the cloud is less secure. It's very hard to move things into, especially big. And it gets messy when you're inviting all these people. Well, everybody has hard drives. Everybody has computers. We're making that happen with Red Code and Blackmagic RAW.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, you don't have to convince me. Anything that I can cut the up and down and go straight sounds good. You talked about security. Is there any possible security issues when you allow other people to kind of enter your computer?
Great question. So when it comes to our security, most of the files are never moved. They literally live on the drives they're on. When you use a cloud, you have to make a copy in a public cloud. If I asked anyone, where's your media when it's in a cloud? Nobody knows. You don't know where it is, right? And when you say delete the media in the cloud, you can always get it back. So what does delete even mean? That's not very secure. If files you deleted are recoverable, that doesn't make any sense. And so if you want things to be really secure, the best place is for them to be on premises and allow individual access to those folders. Now, they don't go through Strada. We don't hold your media. So your firewall, your ISP, your routing, your VPN, and your security system is actually protecting your data. When you put it in a cloud, it's not any of your stuff, it's somebody else's stuff. And there are people all over the world trying to hack into those clouds, and they're often successful. But everyone would have to try to hack into every single Strada user's home or office or production or something like that, because they're all individually secured. So our security gets so powerful because it allows everyone to build their own security, which you should do anyway. And since I don't have a copy of your files, they're never accessible. And then there is the last thing about our security. We encrypt anything if it's being transmitted, and we put the encryption workflow diagram on our website. So if anyone wants to know how to do that, just turn around real quick. We actually publish how we manage file transfers that are encrypted. We want you to know when a file is moving, how do we do that? So we make that available for people to see. But the last thing is you can unplug it. What's the most secure thing in the world? A hard line. With a cloud, you can't unplug Frame.io, you can't unplug Google Drive. It's always going to be there. But with Strada, because it's your drive, you can unplug it. There is nothing more secure than taking a drive offline through a cable.
So you just convinced, I guess, a bunch of people that would love to try your service. What should they do next?
Yeah, we want people to try this because we want you to get off the cloud. You need to try it. That's why we are really generous. We give everybody a 7-day unlimited trial. Everybody can do that. Anybody that wants to view files, connect drives, play back, and invite people, it's free. There's no cost to connect. You could connect. I have a client that connected 8 petabytes of drives to Strada. It costs $0 because it doesn't cost me anything, so I don't charge you anything. Where we charge is when you want to do remote editing, which is our drag and drop experience. That is going to be $8 US per month, $8 per user. That's it. That's as much as one day at Starbucks, right? So $8 per month for users to edit remotely. You can try it for 7 days. You can always view for free as long as you want.
Michael, as always, real pleasure. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Guys, thank you very much for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you.